Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to my Facebook Live chat on Friday the 15th of June, or you might be watching later on YouTube. Sorry, my setup's a little bit different still because I'm still waiting on things to be repaired, walls to be repaired, and things like that, carpet to be laid. Anyway, so I have been very busy since I saw you last. I had a wonderful time last weekend at the Soulcraft Festival, where I went to Melbourne. Hello, welcome. So, sorry, I should probably just say, if you ask any questions or anything during the feed, I might not get to them until the very end. So I'm not ignoring you. I was just trying to go with my flow, and hopefully if you have any questions, I can answer them at the end. Yes, anyway, so yes, last Friday I travelled down to Melbourne to the Soulcraft Festival, which was on Saturday and Sunday in North Melbourne at the Meat Market, which is a beautiful old building, cobblestone, bluestone floor, beautiful old rooms. Yeah, it was really, really fun. So it was 2 days of, there were talks by lots of different people, there were demonstrations, there were workshops, there was a marketplace, there was food, drink, there was an art exhibition, there was gatherings of people from the same area. It was just an all-round, really, really well-run, well-organised, super cool event to be at. It was really, really fun. I didn't get to see everything. There was a program and there were 2 stages, so there were 2 talks going on at all times. There were 2 demonstration spaces, so there were lots of those happening as well. So there was no way you were going to see it all. But I looked at the program and ticked off the ones I wanted to see, and I saw some. But probably, I'm not going to tell you about everything that I did, but the highlights for me were just the conversations that I had, connecting with people. I spent most of Saturday with Bryony, who does Yarn Time by Bryony, and Sky, who I've met through wool gathering. We just happened to be at wanted to listen to the same talks, so that was really lovely. The marketplace, there were lots of people I knew there as well, so that was fun to hang out with the guys from the Great Ocean Road Woolen Mill. Tom from Tandy was there. Anita and Carly from the Pearl Box were there as well, so I got to catch up with all of those guys. That was really fun. But not just the people I already knew. I gather there were lots of people that I'd run into that I knew from wool gathering and around the place who'd done workshops and things with me. So it was great to just walk around, oh hi, and have quick little chats. But there's also a lot of chats with people who I hadn't met before, and they were some of the best things. It just, for me, I keep saying this word, I keep saying serendipitous, because that's what it felt like. I met Jane Milburn, who I'll talk about in a moment, and had a great chat with her. It was just the right person, the right time, with the right words to say to me. It was just perfect in every way. It was just, and that wasn't the only instance. There was a couple of those sort of things. I spoke to a few people just about things in general, about how, running a business in the craftland. It just solidified a lot of my thinking and a lot of my thoughts about how I'm going to move forward and what makes me feel good. Yeah, anyway, a lot of deep thoughts went on that weekend. That was Saturday. On Sunday, I went out Saturday. I went out Saturday night with a few people, which was heaps of fun. But also we had some good conversations as well. Yeah, that was really, really fun. Late night for me. And then Sunday, I sort of stuck to myself a little bit more. I am a bit of an introvert. I'm not one who goes seeking out a lot of social interaction, but I did a lot on Saturday and it was great. And Sunday I sort of did my own thing a bit more. I still saw people I knew and caught up with people. Julie from Little Woolly was there. It was great to catch up with her. I still saw people. Aki from Knit Pearl. Oh, I forgot her Instagram name. That's ridiculous. Anyway, I saw Aki as well. So that was good. But yeah, I just did what I wanted to do. I watched a couple of demonstrations. There was one, Georgie Cheeky Knits did a great demonstration on fixing knitting mistakes. she actually had these swatches, and she'd pull out and shake them and make it all unravel, and then she fixed it in front of us. It's just magic. Not just normal straight stocking stitch knitting, but actually lace knitting as well. She did that same thing. So that was amazing to watch, and it gave me a bit more confidence that if I do make a mistake, I can actually do something about it. It's okay. You just have to stop and read. So that was great. I watched another demonstration on blocking lace knitting, and just did a bit of a wander around a bit more. But anyway, the talks that I had, there were 3 that stuck with me that I really, really enjoyed. Kate Ullman from Fox's Lane. I don't know if you follow her blog or her Instagram. I will answer that question a bit later, Sharon. Just remind me when I get down to the question section. I want to keep going on. So, Kate Ullman, Fox's Lane. I don't know if you follow her blog or her Instagram. She's up Daresford Way, has an organic farm. 3 girls like me. She's been a crafter for a long time. Just a really lovely natural person. I actually met her for the first time in person, so that was really, really cool. Having followed her for quite some time, and she had a talk with one of her daughters who actually interviewed her about craft and what craft means to her, but what it has meant through their life. So Kate's been blogging their family, their farm for I think 9 years now, every Friday for 9 years. So she's got this photographic record of her kids growing up and her craft along that time as well, and their family and their farm. So she spoke about all the different stages she's gone through with her kids, and her kids spoke about being like on Instagram and on the blog and how they feel about it. It was just a really lovely, nice chat. So that was really cool. Another talk that really hit home for me was Jane Milburn, who I spoke about earlier. It was all about, Jane's written this book. Now, I know this is backwards. Now, I'm sorry, I'll stop for a moment. I have done some investigating. There is no way for me to be able to flip this video without recording it first and then flipping it and uploading it again later. So if you have an Apple device, you can flip it while you're going live, but I don't have an Apple device, and it's just not an option that I have. So I'm sorry that it's backwards, but that's just the way it is for these live videos. So yes, Jane Milburn. She's written this book called Slow Clothing, and she spoke about her philosophy on clothing and the clothing industry, and she's a very intelligent woman, she's a journalist background. She has wear clothes, have few, mostly natural fibres, because she spoke about even the fact of using man-made fibres, like that are made with plastics. Some of that gets lost. Microplastics get lost in washing and can end up in our water and all sorts of things. And there's so many things about cheap, fast clothing. You know, you can go to Kmart and buy a t-shirt for $4, and wear it for, I don't know, a few months maybe, and then toss it. That's just so wasteful. Anyway, but the way she spoke, she's not judgmental. She's just explaining how she lives and her methodology and her thoughts. Upcycling, like one item of clothing, you know, she might get from an op shop or have purchased, and she will, you know, if it wears out in a particular area, she will recreate it to become something new. Like, you know, turn dresses into skirts or all sorts of crazy, not crazy, I don't know why I say crazy, all sorts of really interesting, fun things. She definitely has her own style. Show up as your natural, authentic self. Just so many awesome takeaway things. And just how hand stitching is such a lost art, and everybody should know how to sew it with a button. It's not hard. And if you've got a needle and thread, then you can do anything. You don't need a sewing machine or anything fabulous. But just, yeah, she had lots of facts and figures too, like clothing fibre consumption, and we are just so wasteful now compared to a few generations ago. It's just amazing. Anyway, so she was very inspiring, and I've never been one to follow fashion or anything like that, and I tend to buy something and wear it till it wears out, but I think I will be more mindful of what my clothing is made from when I do make purchases in the future. It's just it sat well with me, what she was saying. But yes, as I was saying, she has written this book, and I caught up with her just by chance later on in the day after her talk. And but when I sat down at her talk, there were cards on the table, on the chairs, and some people, if you open up that card, you want a copy of the book. And I was one of those lucky people. So that was one of the serendipitous things. So then I was able to chat to her later on about the book, and she's actually published this book exactly the same way that I'm publishing my book, which was just awesome. And she's used the same settings and the same, you know, everything as me, same publisher. So it was really, really an awesome conversation that I had with her, and she was very helpful and very lovely and gave me lots of very good advice. So I'm so grateful for that interaction that I had. I'd be happy if that was all that happened in the weekend, but there was heaps more. Felicia, who organised Soulcraft, she also spoke. One of the talks that I went to was about stash, and you conversate your relationship with your stash. It was called Stash Less, and that really resonated with me as well. Some of the things she said, she spoke about, you know, why we create stashes, and she's like, again, non-judgmental. Like, if you love your yarn, fabric, whatever stash and get great joy in it, awesome. But I was a bit like her. When I have things piling up around me, it gives me stress. Oh, I've got all of this stuff here that I haven't done anything with yet. It creates stress. It doesn't give me joy. So I think you probably heard me talk about in the past, maybe, I don't know, that I only purchase yarn if I have an absolute specific purpose for it. Generally, I do break that rule occasionally, which is what this basket of yarn is behind me, generally, where I've been to a shop and seen a beautiful ball of yarn that feels lovely, and I just had to have it. So this is what I call my petting basket, because this is all lovely, super soft, delicious stuff behind me. So, but generally, if I don't buy yarn unless I have a purpose. But I fell into a trap while I was there. I did make a couple of purchases, and one of them, it was exactly what she was talking about. You're really busy, you really want to craft means a lot to you, but you just don't have the time to devote for it. So what do? You go shopping and you buy the supplies to make something else, because that makes you feel like you are still making, even if you're not actually making. But then that gets added to the pile of things that you don't have time to do, which then again creates stress. So that spoke to me very much. So, and I'm like, I apply that sort of rule, like, don't buy it unless you need it, to pretty much everything, like clothes, food. I plan my meals and do a shopping list, and I only get what's on the list, and I only get enough what we need, so we're not, throwing out food. So that whole thought process, applying that to your stash, is really, really cool. So yeah, that was a really, really fun thing to do too. And it just solidified what I was thinking. I was thinking the right things, that I agree with her philosophy on it. But again, like, if you love collecting yarn and it gives you joy to have, cupboards full of it, go for it, do it, enjoy it. It's all a personal thing. But for me, that guilt and that buying something because you don't have time but you still want to be doing, just was like, yes, that is me. That's what I do. And I need to be more conscious of that and not do it, because it does add stress. Like at the moment, I've showed you the sewing patterns that I bought. I still haven't sewn that dress that I showed you, the new pattern I bought the other day. And when I was at Soulcraft, I bought a new dress pattern. Why? I think it's purely that. I knew I had the fabric at home, and I knew that I wanted to do it, but I probably could have done without this purchase right now. But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to allocate time to make it, so that I can remove it from that stress factor of being there for me. So yes, so there we go. That was a bit of what happened at Soulcraft. It was really wonderful. It was great catching up with so many people. If it's on again next year, go. Just go. One day or the other. It's just the best thing ever. I just came home feeling just filled up with all the right positive thoughts and inspiration, and not just about crochet and craft, but just, yeah, it made me feel a whole lot better about what I feel inside about how things are. in the world. Rah, rah. Enough. Okay, so there was a marketplace. I did go shopping. I bought that pattern, as you saw. I also bought, there's a crochet hook, and I have forgotten the name of the people who are selling that. And I also bought one of these creations, a nostipin, depends where you are, how you say it. And what this is used for is to create balls of yarn, centre pull. I think I've actually done this a little bit tight, my first go, but it's okay. Lots of YouTube videos showing you how to do it. This is called a goose egg wrap using it. So this yarn is also something that I bought along with this. Now these are both very exciting. I'm sorry you're having trouble hearing me. I do have my microphone plugged in, so I'm sorry, Sherry. Right, so this yarn is very exciting. This is from the Great Ocean Road Wool and Mill, just up the road, Nick and Isabel. And this blue is indigo dyed by Bryony, very clever lady. And this is the undyed cotton. And these are both cotton spun in Australia. Yay! It just doesn't happen. It's all of our cotton tends to get sent overseas, spun, and then sent back. Pardon me. And then it's dyed, whatever, in Australia. So this is completely Australian, grown in Australia, spun in Australia, dyed in Australia. It's just fantastic. Excuse me. I do have a plan for this. This is my reward. Book is out, book is done. Book is out, book is done. I'm going to sit and design something new just for these beautiful yarns. So yay. And that's it. That's all I bought, apart from food and coffee. The food was awesome as well. So yes, Soulcraft, awesome. Go do it if you can. It's fantastic. All right, so that was the weekend. Let's get on to this week. Monday was a public holiday and I was exhausted after a very big weekend. I didn't get home till 12:30 Sunday night. So Monday I sat on the couch. I read a lot. Didn't move a lot. Had a very big sleep on the couch. But it's all good. It was great fun. All worth the tiredness. And yes, so what happened next? On Tuesday I sent my, well actually it was on Wednesday. I wrote it on Tuesday, most of it on Tuesday. It's supposed to be a Tuesday email, but it kind of got a bit bigger than I anticipated. I think I mentioned last week I wanted to do a big blog post about how to work out how much yarn you need if you're making squares. Yes, she does. So hold that thought, Sandra, and I will let you know that when I get to the questions bit down the end. Right, so how much yarn do you need to make something out of squares? I get the question a lot. You might want to make a scarf, you might want to make a blanket this big, a blanket this big. If you're making squares, it's easy to figure out how much yarn you will need. And I have done, in my email, I laid out all the steps. I gave an example so you could see my maths in action. It's very simple maths. And yes, so that is out. A few people have been in touch already saying that they have found it very useful, so that is good. So what I did was I just talked about, it's actually on the blog now as well. I'll put a link down below when I'm done. I did a sample of the square I wanted to use, and I did some calculations. You can either work it out by weighing your square, or you can work it out by making your square, unraveling it and measuring. That's not scary. It can be done. And I also spoke a bit about the differences that a different yarn and different hook can have. For example, this one here, this has got a border on it, so just imagine it's about from there, is made with pretty much the same yarn as this one has been made. This is made by Deirdre. Look at what I made, Sophie's Universe Designer. This one's made by Deirdre, same pattern. But as you can see, Hers is way smaller than mine. Okay, I'm sorry if you're having trouble hearing, but my microphone is plugged in. I'm sorry, I can't do any more than that. Yes, so maybe if you're having trouble hearing, sometimes earphones are a good way to pick up on the sound. But yes, so anyway, so yes, yarn, much the same, but different size. It really does depend on your personal crochet style and the hook you use and all that sort of thing. So all that info is on the blog. Hopefully it'll be a good resource for you if you want to make something, that you can figure out how much yarn you need for something. Right, okay. Someone was mentioning book. I hit a bit of a hurdle with my book this week, so it hasn't been the best week with regards to my book. Okay, I have 2 copies here now. All like its final edit has been done, and it's all good. I just had a printing issue. Nothing to do with me. Thank you, Judy. That's good to know. Nothing to do with me. It was an actual printing issue. Like the printer made a mistake. So that means I have to wait for another one to be sent, which means it's not going to get here till next week. So things I was... I'm sorry, Elizabeth, I do not understand that comment. So anyway, hopefully next week I will be able to give you some news on where and when you can get your own copy of my book. So yeah, a little bit frustrating, but I'm keeping it together. It's all good. It will all happen. Just, I was hoping to be able to tell you that it's available now, like for pre-order today, but I cannot. So, sorry. Anyway, it's still, I'm still super proud of it. I actually hadn't looked at it like cover to cover, read the words for a while, and I did that again, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, and at the overwhelming feeling I got at the end was, oh my God, I wrote a book. I am so proud of this thing. This is exactly what I wanted it to be, and I hope that it will be everything that you expect it to be when you actually get it. So yay. Thank you. Right, okay, giantess progress. My reworking of the pattern. Okay, there hasn't been a lot of work from me on that. I still haven't finished the video editing. It was... I mentioned last week that I've made a mistake and I need to reshoot a bit. And now I still haven't done that reshooting. And the reason that's stopping me is a stupid reason. Tell me it's a stupid reason and you don't care and I will get it done. In my video, I had my nails done in a certain, just so that you don't not looking at manky fingernails when I'm crocheting. Since then, it all got terrible and I took it off and my fingernails are broken and they're going to look completely different in that one little section of video. Isn't that a stupid reason for not shooting it? I'm not going to go and get my nails done again, just so they match. I'm giving myself a pep talk here. Excuse me. You don't care, do you, that my fingernails will look different from one little section of the video? Please tell me you don't. Oh, it's so silly. Sometimes silly things hold me up. So I will hopefully get that done next week. And it will be very, very soon that the fresh new pattern will be available. Thank you. It's just a real thing for me. I can't stand YouTube videos when people have got dirty, horrible, ragged fingernails. It just drives me nuts. I just can't stand it. So I like to try and at least mine have lights. Thank you. Thank you, giving me permission. Good, I will go ahead. But just because I haven't been busy doesn't mean other people haven't. So Sam, the lovely Sam, has been making a sample for me. Now you've seen my sample before, made with the 8-ply cotton. Here in the storm cloud. Well, Sam has been very busy making me a 4-ply version in, I always get the name of this colour wrong. I'm going to say Arctic, but that might not be right. So this is, oops, a 4-ply version, and it's also a different a different layout. So whereas mine has got 2 large squares in the center and then 3 small squares top and bottom, this has got 4 large squares in the center and there are actually 16 small squares around the corner, around the edges. So that is a mammoth amount of work, Sam. Mammoth amount of work. And I really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much. All I have to do is add the border, which I started on last night, but I was tired, so I didn't get very far. I think this is going to be my weekend project. I am going to, in between stuff I've got to do, I'm going to get that border done. And hopefully next week take some photos. But also, Sam not only did that, she also did a couple of different colour versions for me. So she's done this one. So showing an example of one spot where you can change the colour. Let me just get, oh, that's right, I was going to show you as well. So this is done in the 8 ply and this is done in the 4 ply. So you can see the size difference. Excuse my unblockedness. So you can see there is quite a large size difference between those 2 yarns. She's also done one of the large squares for me. It's unblocked, pardon me, changing colours in different spots. So again, this one's done in 4 ply, but if you look at it compared to, sorry, just get my fingers together, 8 ply, it is quite a lot smaller as well. So it really does make a difference. So I'll be taking photos of all of those different colour options. But again, there's a million colour options. You could do a different colour for every round. So I'm just going to show you a few examples in the pattern and you can do what you want. So that is that. Yeah. Hopefully I'll get some crochet time on the weekend. Okay, now exciting news. I shared with you a little while ago and I showed little sneak peeks, on my Facebook page last week or a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember, of the white gum wool patterns that I have made for their collection called Wrapped. Now the good news is that collection goes live today. Not quite ready yet, but sometime this afternoon. The patterns, there are 17 patterns in the collection. There are some crochet, they're mostly knit, but there are some crochet patterns. I've designed 2 of them. I'm actually wearing one. I have permission to show you before they're officially out in the world. So let me take this off and show you. This is the Helix scarf. So it's really, can you see? This is made of wool, okay? Can you see the drape and softness of this wool? It's not stiff and scratchy. This is just divine. It's a dream to work with. This is called the Ashmore colourway. So it's got some mostly blues, but also greens and a few little flecks of brown. Now, I don't know if you've tried to use a variegated type yarn with crochet before, but it generally doesn't work. So hopefully this pattern, you'll agree with me that it does actually work. So you can see little hills. So there's like one hill and then 2 hills separated by some straight stitching. Now it's all very simple stitches, and in the pattern there's a chart and I've got a tick off sheet, so each row you can tick off so you keep track of where you're up to. It's worked back and forth, not squares like I usually do. It's very thick and wide and luxurious. It's very long as well. It actually does go around my neck and then still is quite long. So that will go live this afternoon. You'll be able to get it in my blog shop, on Ravelry, and also the White Gum Wool website. Now if you buy yarn from White Gum Wool website, you can choose a free pattern. So you can basically buy the yarn and get the pattern for free if that's what you wanted to do. Yes, so that will all go live this afternoon. So this is this pattern, and I also designed another one which is called Mill Pond, and it's a baby blanket, which is just, it's super luxurious. It's just, so here it is. So there's, I love the center of this one. It's called Mill Pond because it's like you drop a pebble in the middle of a pond and then watch the ripples radiate out. It is ripply, and I'm imagining like the grasses and things, and this like little grass, I've lost my words, little flower buds and things on the grasses. So it is just divine. Again, you can see how soft it is and how delicious and drapey. Even though this is really thick, it's quite a thick pattern because it's all front post stitches, so it's almost a double thick feeling. So even with all of that stitchery, to be so soft is just amazing. So yes, the pattern for this will also be available this afternoon. Yay! So it's a bit more than 1 metre across. It's round, and it's ended with a round of crab stitching. So there you go, exciting, hooray! I cannot tell you. I've been working on this. Started working on this. Oh goodness me, February last year. I think that's how long this collection's been in the process. This one I started working on. Oh, I don't know. That was well into last year. Well into last year. Probably about June or so last year. About a year. So I've been sitting on these for a secret for a very long time, and it's so good that they will actually be out today. Now the other thing about the collection is there is a stitch along. It's called a stitch along, not a crochet along or knit along, because there are knit and crochet patterns. And it's starting tomorrow, and there are prizes. And that's in the White Gum Wool Ravelry group. All the information is there on that. I'll pop a link down there. The pattern will be available in my blog shop, in my pattern shop, Ravelry, and also the White Gum Wool website. I will put links down below to some things, and I'll update it a bit later on with links to the actual patterns when they go live. It will be today, just not right now, probably this afternoon. So yay, that's all very exciting. Right, so that's it. I feel like I've talked for a long time. So now I'm up to the questions part. I have had one question a couple of times this week. It's weird how that happens. I tend to have the same question over and over a few times in a week. Are my patterns written or charted? Pardon me. There's a mixture. Some of them are written and charted. Tends to be the more recent ones, the last few years, because I didn't have the ability to do charting way back. So, pardon me. There are some patterns that I'm going back to, like the Giantess, where I am charting, because the Giantess pattern has had charts made, so that's all good. So if you're ever unclear and want to get clarification on that, just let me know. Okay, so we're up to questions. There's a few popping up here. The cruise, yes, the cruise. So in January next year, I am teaching crochet on a cruise. We are going to be doing the mind blanket and also squares from my book. Is it fully booked? Not yet, but it's getting close. Last I heard, it was over 70% booked. So if you are thinking of coming along and want to, probably need to get that deposit done now. You can just pay a deposit and then the balance has to be paid by the end of October. So yay, that's exciting. There was another question before. Yay! It's going to be so fun. I can't wait. It really is going to be really, really good. There was another question earlier before. I'm very sorry that I have forgotten completely what it was. I knew that would happen. So if you can repeat that for me, please. Oh, and the rain is starting. It's been really miserable this week, and it looks like it's going to be a fun weekend. There was a question earlier, and I'm sorry, I really can't remember what it was. Can you type it again? I wonder if, sorry, just excuse me touching. I want to see if I can scroll down and find it. Sorry, lots of comments. Okay, here we go. Sharon asked, what are some of the favourite trending crafts, I can't even speak now, trending crafts in my part of the world? She's in the USA. Okay, so I'm in Australia, and I think it depends who you talk to. If you go to somewhere like Soulcraft, knitting is the thing. There are knitters everywhere. Not so many crocheters. There are some. I was probably one. I don't know how many other people there were who were crocheters on the weekend, but knitting is a very big thing. But then I can speak to other people who think that no one knits, no one does anything. Other crafts that are really big at the moment are weaving, little looms, hand weaving, as well as sayori weaving is quite big as well, and macrame. Macrame is a very big thing as well here in Australia, which I find really weird because I remember doing it at primary school. Making wall hangings with a stick at the front, like a wavy stick, and a stick at the bottom, and then we'd do an owl with bead eyes, and it was all made out of Hessian yarn or jute, and yeah. It's fun. Like it is fun. I remember doing it and really enjoying it. So yeah, there's some of the crafts that are big at the moment in Australia. I'm trying to get crochet up there a bit more. Sorry, I'm just going to scroll back down to the bottom. Right, any other questions for me today? I have rabbited on quite a lot today, I know. Anyway, if you do have any other questions at any time, just... Oh, there was another one, Bryony, that's right. You asked about, does Bryony sell yarn online? Yes, she does. I will put a link to her shop down below. She has actually dyed yarn for one of the projects in my book, which I can show you if you like. Okay, sneaky peek here. Not that one, because that's the printing error one. Let me show you this one. Where are you? Here it is. So that is yarn dyed by Bryony. Actually, coincidentally, the yarn that she used to dye is white gum wool. So yeah, in a lovely sunshiny yellow. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it, Sharon. Thank you. All right, so that's it. So if you have any questions between now and then, drop me a comment on my YouTube channel where I upload this later, or on my Facebook page here, or send me an email, shelley@spincushions.com. But other than that, I think I probably should let you go. So thank you very much for sticking around, and I will see you... Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I beg your pardon. Sorry, one more thing. I have a plan for next week's Facebook Live that's a little bit different. It might be a different time and at a different place, but I have to organise it yet, so hopefully it will work. And yes, so watch out for that. I'll announce it on my page if it is changing from my normal sitting in here. So there you go. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week somewhere.